Hi, here we are going to see about the AKS architecture diagram. So how it going to communicate between the master and slave nodes, I mean worker nodes. So if you see here, you have something called a developer and admin. So they install some CTL. This is a command line interface where I can able to talk to this master node. So this is actually your master node and I'm going to talk to this. And this based upon this instruction, so it will go to this master node, and after that, this will give the instructions to the your worker nodes, your slave nodes. Okay. Now, what I'm going to I'm going to explain about the each one, what is for each services. If you see the ECD, ECD is like it will process your data. So whenever you're giving instructions, whenever you're creating any cluster, it's going to save the cluster informations and credential information in your EC3. So basically to persist your cluster informations, any kind of certificates and communications of this thing will be stored in your ECD. So it will store in your key pair value actually. Next is a control manager, which will control your master and slave. So for example, whenever you create any kind of pods or any kind of replications. So this will try to control your worker and master nodes. So that I will define it into the some deployment sets. So that will replicate into your this node. So I will, for example, I want to create in the worker nodes this many pods. So if you see here I created almost 9 pods. So these configurations this will be controlled by control manager, which will control all these steps actually your applications. That is thing. Next is a scheduler. A scheduler is like say any pod is failed or whenever you create a new kind of a deployment instruction. So they're giving some instructions to this, and that so whenever a new instruction comes, the scheduler will keep on checking, and it finds a new kind of informations. It will try to update it. So that is a scheduler, and it will keep on checking the healthy node of your cluster. So if any pod is failed or something, this will won't send any traffic to the unhealthy pods. It will send to the healthy pods. So that thing will be taken care. That is the scheduler. Next is the API server. API is server which whenever you are sending any kind of data via kubectl. Kubectl is a command line interface. So this is a REST API, and this gives the instructions to everything actually. So every communications happen via this API servers, your kubectl, and this will internally communicate to this. Okay. So if you see here, we try to host AKS cluster. AKS is a managed service. You don't need to manage your this services, and you have to just deploy it, and you have to tell what you're going to what kind of cluster configuration and how many nodes you want. So everything you will manage it. Okay. So in next lecture we will see how the life cycle go, how the instructions goes, how the life cycle happens. So whenever I'm giving the instructions, how the flow is happening. Okay. We'll see in the next lecture. Thank you guys.